whilst I come down the stairs, I thought you might like a closer look at our pond. Paul put all this panelling around it last year from an old shed. It needs paint up this year again. But yeah, this is our pond. Excuse the pot on this side. I've been sorting out my herbs and all the bits from there are in there. Yeah, we've got 2 big kois in there. They're not actually Japanese kois, they're English koi, and they're the pride of our pond. And the rest are shabunkins and your average goldfish. A lot of them are carrying eggs at the moment, so they've got really bloated tummies. They're almost ready to spawn. And then this bit we created last year. Paul wanted to put a waterfall in, so he built this waterfall, which looks like a letterbox to me, but it's a big filtration system in there that filters our big pond. We found all that on YouTube. And then I kind of got left to the plants in here. Paul wanted mint, so we put that in. That was beside the phlox there, but it's kind of made its way down to the side of the pond here. It's growing up there, and it's growing in between the phlox over there. Phlox is looking absolutely beautiful down here. And behind there we've got a bamboo type plant. I'm not sure what that's called. It's really architectural and it's really quite stunning. I'll take you around the side of it so you can see it. It's a bit dark around there. And then at the side here we've just got some other phlox. The pink one is another phlox. This one I'm not sure what it's called, but it's a very pretty cushion forming flower that grows tall stems. And then this big heap of stuff here is a really, really unusual bright orange flower. It's quite invasive actually, and my idea of putting it there in that little corner, which is behind a huge rock, was just to keep it in that area. But it apparently, Paul says, it's made its way into his filtration system. So yeah, we've got to sort that out before that becomes a problem. But it's a very beautiful plant, very, very unusual. I'll show you pictures of that later in the year. So that's our pond. And shallow water rockery. All of that has got water underneath it, and all these plants will tolerate that water and thrive in it like that. But yeah, that's our pond. And Bella snoozing at the end. So I'm coming down now to the side of this water. You can see my Tiam, lovely Peony at the back. There's Scabious back as well. And then at the back, we let the ivy just grow naturally in the garden because it covers up the fence, which is so unnatural. And I think the ivy looks quite good. It needs a cut. It needs a bit of a trim. It's got a bit bushy in areas. The ivy looks good. And then growing up that bit of metal mesh is clematis. I meant to have cut it back this year. Paul usually does that for me because I can't manage up there. But I haven't, and it's kind of growing up there. It will eventually fall over. Sometimes it's quite good to let them grow naturally like that amongst the dead, because it kind of puffs them out and makes them a bit bigger. So that's clematis. That's a probably late spring, early summer flowering one. Deep purple colour. And coming back down to my border, it's half in the shades at the moment. I've got these are my favourite, they're just coming out now. These are Chilias, and they form really tall flowers which are like a platform, like a little table on top. And they are like I think that one down there is a terracotta colour. And then I've got one over there. There's not many new shoots come out of that yet. You just see one at the back. And that one is a what colour was that one? I think it was a pink one, that one. And then I've got one down here. It's got a few shoots, one there and a few there coming up. It kind of spaces out. It's got long sort of spider-like legs under the ground, and it comes up in all sorts of areas. And that is a deep red one, and it's quite a low one. It's not as tall as the other two. And then I've got a little dianthus, just a bit of splash of pink, simple and easy flower to grow. And then right there is one of my delphiniums that actually moved out this year from the border to the left here into there, because I've had two of them right next to each other for years. And I just thought it was time to separate them because they were taking up a lot of room together. So now I've got delphinium in here as well as that border to the left. And I've just got some little annuals in the front just to make it look pretty. Little daisy type flowers. And ranunculus. Common name is turban buttercup because it looks like a turban. Pretty, providing some colour this time of year. And then in the back there, these big leafed, tallish ones that will get very tall are hollyhocks. They're right at the back of the border because obviously if you planted them in the front, they would just spoil the vision of the rest of the border. So they'll grow up that fence and just create a nice backdrop in that corner. So that is that border. That's my biggest flower border. Oh, right at the back there I've got a big bay bush. That's just for cooking again. It's just bay leaves for cooking. So yeah. In this little pot here, I picked some cow parsley yesterday because cow parsley type flowers are very fashionable at the moment in gardens. And I've got some more sort of cow parsley shaped flowers coming, some angelica and some amuagus, which are more predominant and kind of big heads and quite majestic, coming for the garden in the post. At the moment, mail order plants are taking ages because there's such a need for them. So I'm hoping I picked that, and I'm hoping it will cut the root at the bottom. Broke the root at the bottom as I was picking it, because there's such deep rooted roots. It would be hard to pull up the whole root, so I've put it in water and hopefully the roots should grow and I can put that in my garden. I've got some seedlings along this little wall. Our walls are half done at the moment, they've just got sort of sealed coat on them. Gonna paint them the bright blue, so that's why. This is my border. First border right at the back of the house that gets full sun for most of the day. That's a lovely type of upright lobelia. Beautiful red colour. And then to the left of that, there used to be a big lilac bush there that the mushrooms on the stump, but cut that down because it's taken out a lot of the sun from that border. Right next to it is a lovely upright purple salvia. More turban buttercup next to it, and where that stick is, underneath that, there's a big yellow dahlia that comes out. It takes up a huge amount of the border when it comes out. So yeah, I don't know what to do with that actually, because it will take up a huge amount. I might actually move it, I don't know where, maybe a container. And then that in full bloom, right at the back, sorry, in full bloom at the moment is the lovely bluebells. So kind of little flop over to the side a bit. I don't know why. I think it's because they're so heavy topped. And then in front of that's another one of my foxgloves. There was another foxglove growing up that stick last year, but I don't know what happened to that. It didn't come back this year. I think the frost must have got to it. So yeah, I've got various little shoots coming out. I don't know if you can see those ones coming out at the moment. And there's some little like daisy type flowers that will cascade over the side of the wall. Make it look lovely. I think they're yellow colour, so they really pop against the blue that's going over the walls. And then I planted this one the other day, a Lytherium, which will come up really tall, and lovely bright pink flowers on that one. It's a Lytherium Bigartum Dropmore Purple. Look beautiful. And then my other Delphinium at the end of this. As you can see again, there's a lot of space, and there's myrtle in this border to fill. I know, you want to be in the film too. A lot of space in this border to fill. So, yes, that's what's going to help with the seedlings that I've got. Behind this border is a kind of it was a low border, and it was very, very hard for me to bend down and maintain. So, a couple of years ago I said to Paul, right, let's cut off this front bit of the border, then I can maintain that much as far back as that piece of wood, and then let's just cover it with membrane and gravel behind, so we don't have to maintain it. There are weeds growing up under the membrane, but a little bit of weed killer, I'll get rid of those. And then in that is a little bush with the red tips at the moment. Had beautiful white flowers all over it in early spring that the bees loved. But the bees are absolutely loving my big ceanothus bush out there behind it. That ceanothus bush has quadrupled in size over the last couple of years. It grows really fast. After it's flowered, we're going to have to cut it back quite harshly, but it'll just come back as vigorously next year with the bees humming all over it. So yeah, that's that little border. Right, so come a bit further down, and here are all my seedlings. These are cottage garden mixes, so I don't know what each individual seedling is yet. All those little round potted ones are the same. These ones here at the front are a sea of pink annuals, so that means they'll just come out this year and flower for a long period of time, but they won't return next year. And these little fellas at the end are nasturtiums, and they are native to Africa, and they are really fiery oranges, reds and yellow colours, and they'll be great at the edge of my borders to cascade over the walls, and they'll really pop with the blue colour once the walls are painted blue. And I think I'm going to stick them in front of my hydrangea border, in front of my hydrangeas, because they'll just go crazy wherever you plant them, in shade, anywhere. They do prefer full sun, but they will do well wherever you put them. Behind me, if I turn around, our patio is a bit of a mess at the moment. This is my greenhouse, I forgot to show that. That's got lots of more seedlings in it that are tender seedlings, because of the risk of frost still about. I've put them all in there. I've got chamomile, rudbeckia, cantanashes, bells of Ireland, chamomile, creeping thyme. I've got some dahlia tubers in there. What else have I got? Oh, and I've got my Cape daisies that I sowed yesterday in there. Yep. And then if I turn around, you'll see my newly created gravel garden and better. And that's Colin the camel. That's all the cats. Yeah, so all of these were in containers, and they kind of really outgrew the containers, and they were growing all over each other, and they just didn't look good anymore in the containers. So I decided to whip them out and put them in to this gravel, which I want to cover up because it was really, really ugly pea shingle. Don't like it at all. So they'll eventually go all the way over this gravel and cover it up. There's a little plant there next to the camel. Don't know if you can see a little tuft. That's called Mind Your Own Business, and that will go crazy and cover it in no time, which is what I want. I'm doing some videos about the garden, and then we've got like these little black grasses in there as well. I've got some more plants coming to fill that up. I don't know how long they're going to be because ordering stuff online, you just don't know. It can take quite a long time at the moment because of the want and need for plants in this climate. That's a little heather next to the what do you call him, totem pole. Little heather there. That came out of the container as well. And then if I go across here, so I'm moving a stool with me. I'll just push myself down on it. Go across here. This border has been I don't know what to do with border for a long time, and then the year before last I decided, right, let's whack some hydrangeas in it because they're low maintenance, and they would just fill the border up. And yeah, so they're in there. There's a lot of grit in there because it's really heavy soil. It doesn't get a lot of sun, this border, so it needs to put some grit in there to sort of help it drain a bit. And hydrangeas like a lot of water, so with it being heavy soil, they won't mind it at all. The one at the end there is supposed to be a nice bright pink one. This one here was my favourite, and I was really, really looking forward to it coming out for the first time last year. It's a new one, this one. And this one here, sorry, I don't know if I said the colour, that's baby blue. And this one here was a pink one. But hydrangeas choose their colour by the soil that they're in, by the pH of the soil. And sadly, last year they all came out a kind of pinky green colour. They're just quite a boring colour, unfortunately, but they still looked quite pretty. I'm hoping that they'll change colour again this year, being that they're used to the soil. I don't know if they will, but I hope they have a bit more of a vivid colour this year. And this is our decking up here. We don't know what to do with this space anymore, like we used to do. So we've got a honeysuckle up there that needs tying up and wearing up against the doors a bit better. And that is my rose in its pot up there. My mum and dad-in-law gave that to Paul and I for our engagement present, and it's called Celebration. It has lovely light peach flowers. I'm going to pause because Bella's going to come and bark. Yeah, and so up there in that corner, which is like the entrance for shed area, is a Japanese Acer, which is not doing too well, unfortunately. I could do with moving, and it's got a lot of dead bark on it. And below that, there's loads of big tall daisies that are going to grow up, but I'm not sure how they're going to do in there because it's so shaded up there. It doesn't get much sun at all. And that's probably why the Ace is not doing very well, because it doesn't get much sun at all in that corner. And then I've got a trough up there that's got some of my achilles in it that I grew from seeds. And I've just put them in the trough because I don't know where to put them at the moment. It's got so many seedlings. I need to just grow everything and get it to a good healthy plant before I can decide where it's all going to go. Yeah, I need to think about it because I do want to pack my borders, but I don't want them to look overgrown. So yeah, this is a garden, and I thought it was time to show you it because it's looking pretty well established now, and doing lots of lots of daily diaries about it. So, oh, one more thing I'll show you, and this is my tree. It's kind of floating about at the moment because doing the walls. It's kind of floating about at the moment because we don't know. Well, no, not because we don't know. Because it usually lives here against this wall where the seedlings are. But as we've been painting the walls, it's just floating about. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to do an identify thing on it in a bit. I'll find out. But I do know it is Japanese. Hence its structure. Yeah, this area of the garden is very messy. It's kind of where everything ends up. And because we're sort of in between sorting out this area, everything lives there like buckets and stuff. And windows. My new garden room that's supposed to have been built by now but isn't. In this area here is my potting table. It's got all my garden tools and everything underneath. Watering cans, pruners, suckers, pots for seeds, trowels and forks and all sorts of hanger baskets underneath. That's my compost there, an old compost bag next to it, and more tools hanging up. And yeah, this is just a bit of a utility wall, the walls of our house, where I just stick everything against it while the garden looks pretty. Yep, so that's me, and that's my garden.